What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about Vision Quest. Alright, to start things off, I'm going to give you all a little of my history with this movie. So, the first time I saw this movie, I watched it with my wrestling team because I wrestled all 4 years in high school and I wrestled in middle school as well. But anyways, the first time that I saw this was my senior year of high school. I had my whole wrestling team over. We were just turning up, going crazy, watching this movie, cracking all kinds of jokes during it. And it was really awesome because it became like kind of an inside joke with us where we would just quote this movie throughout the rest of the season. We would just scream at each other like, Loudon, Loudon, beat shoot, beat shoot. So that was super fun. It was a great experience watching it with the team and then, just having that little inside joke for the rest of the season. And yeah, like I said, I did wrestle back in the day, so watching this movie, you just, if you wrestle, you know everything that he's going through. You know the pain of cutting weight, and the practice looks like a practice that we would have. During the meet, all the wrestling looks legit. They're rolling out the mats. That's stuff we would do. And something that I noticed this time, I don't know if I even noticed it last time, but at one point Loudon is chewing gum and spitting into a cup, which is actually a tactic that we would use to cut weight, because a lot of the meets were after school, so you wouldn't really eat during the day, and you would just chew gum all day and spit it in a cup to lose a little bit of water weight, which in hindsight, that was probably really weird for the rest of the people in the class. Like, who is this fool just chewing gum, spitting in a cup? What a freak. Like, that fool's disgusting, but you gotta do what you gotta do. Speaking of you gotta do what you gotta do, Loudon, that fool stripped down fully naked to make weight, We actually had a guy on our team did that, and he just had like pieces of paper on each side to cover it up, which that sounds weird, but like I said, you gotta do what you gotta do to make weight. So watching this movie as someone who used to wrestle, and when I watched it when I was wrestling, it amped me up. Watching this as someone who used to wrestle, I loved it. I thought it did a great job of showing what real wrestling is. It wasn't like some Hollywood BS. It was really true to the sport, and I think it really did the sport justice. So yeah, but even I think if you used to wrestle or you currently wrestle, this is a must watch because there's really not that many wrestling movies out there. But even if you're not a wrestler, I think this is just a super inspiring movie. After I got done with it, it's a feel good movie too. I felt really good. I felt inspired. You just have a warm feeling after watching this movie. And it really has that good 80s feel. The soundtrack, oh my goodness, amazing. They're like at a bar at one point, and Madonna is there, and she's just singing, and I don't think she's supposed to be Madonna in the movie. She's just some random singer because like it's just some small bar and no one's going crazy. They're not like, oh, it's Madonna, but she was singing. There was like, I believe, one or two more Madonna songs. There was a bunch of good 80s songs in there. I'm a big fan of Madonna. I like her first album, Lucky Star. That's my jam. Burning Up, also my jam. I mean, I've listened to that album probably 6 million times. It's just phenomenal. I don't know. I haven't kept up with her new stuff. I like a Prayer too. It's a phenomenal song. Great times. But yeah, great soundtrack. It was cool seeing Madonna. There was some familiar faces. I mean, of course, the lead is Matthew Modine. He was in Full Metal Jacket. I think he was in that new Wrong Turn reboot, which I haven't seen yet. I might check that out eventually. I am a fan of the Wrong Turn series. Forrest Whitaker was in it. He had a smaller role, but it was cool to see him. The guy who is Loudon's friend, I think his name's Cooch or something like that. He was actually the guy from 16 Candles, who's the main love interest. I mean, 16 Candles rules. That's a phenomenal John Hughes movie, phenomenal 80s movie. I need to rewatch that. What am I doing with my life? I haven't watched that in a hot minute. And then the main love interest girl in this, I recognize her. She was in Men in Black, and then Dogma, which Dogma rules. You got Matt Damon is an angel, and you got Ben Affleck is an angel, and that's just super good Kevin Smith movie right there. Good times. But yeah, basically this, like I said, this is a really inspiring movie. It was an underdog story. I'll go over a little quick plot synopsis here. So Loudon is 18. He's in high school. He has this feeling that he wants to do something big. It's like his time now. He's got to kind of prove himself and accomplish something big to prove to himself that, you know, he can do something like high caliber. So they call it a vision quest. You know, his friend goes into some explanation of it. I don't remember exactly, but that's what they call it, a vision quest. It's like his little journey, coming of age, you know. So basically, yeah, he is at 190 and he wants to cut down to 168, and everyone's like, that's insane. You're at 6% body fat. He's having nosebleeds. He doesn't eat. He's dehydrated. He faints. He's just in terrible health. He's cutting like an insane amount of weight, working out like crazy. He's cutting this weight because he wants to wrestle Shoot. Shoot is the undefeated state champion. He's undefeated. No one's ever beat him. Loudon, like, that's his goal. He's like, I'm gonna beat Shoot. So it's everyone thinks he's insane. It's an impossible goal. No one's ever beat him. They're like, why don't you just stay at 190? You could be a state champ at 190. But he wants to pick the hardest opponent out there just to really prove to himself that he can accomplish this impossible goal. And spoiler alert, spoilers, just to let you all know, he does beat Shoot. The ending, oh my goodness, so inspiring. It's just a beautiful ending. Like I said, this is, even if you're not a fan of wrestling, even if you're not a fan of sports, this is just a great inspirational movie to watch if, I don't know, you need a little extra inspiration in your life. So let me just take a second. I gotta check my notes here, see what else I have to talk about. Yeah, so I don't know if I mentioned this, but a big part of the story is this romance between Loudon and this girl who gets in an accident, and they have her stay at his house. She's a little bit older. He's 18. She's 21. Eventually they get together, but the romance doesn't work out because they both have to pursue their goals. He has his mission of beating Shoot and eventually getting a scholarship, and she is moving out of state to pursue her dream of being an artist. So I kind of like that they had this romantic moment, but at the end of the day, they didn't stay together. You know, because a lot of movies, that like the romance, it always like ends up perfectly, and it's like, yeah, I'll move 50 states just to be with you. But it was like in this, it's like they had a really nice romantic moment for a couple months there, but then it's like they both went their separate ways. Like at the end of the day, like they each had their own mission and they had to accomplish it. So in addition to this movie being inspiring, there was some other messages that I liked. There's this scene where he's in an English class and the teacher is asking him to go over a poem, and the poem is, I'm paraphrasing all of this just to let you all know, the poem is about this guy who he's thinking about death and he's thinking about his mortality, and the teacher is like, Loudon, is that good or bad? Like, should he think about that? It's kind of morbid, or should he just, it's pretty sad. Should he think about it, or should he just not think about it? And Loudon is like, it is good to think about your own mortality, because then it really, like, that you're, like, time is fleeting, so it gives you more of a reason to go after your goals and really live your best life. So I thought that was a great message. Another sentimental moment was, throughout the movie, Loudon works at this restaurant, and an older guy works there, and of course, he's older, he has bills, he needs to work, and he takes the day off, gets all dressed up, shaves, just to go see Loudon. And it was this really emotional moment where he was just talking about, it's not about the 6 minutes, it's what happens in the 6 minutes. And he's talking about, everyone thinks that what Loudon is doing is such an inspirational thing, and they're writing stuff about him in the school paper, and I like that it's kind of a domino effect where Loudon is doing this just to prove to himself that he can accomplish this, but by doing that, he's inspiring so many people and giving other people hope. So, I thought that this movie had a lot of heart. I really liked a lot of the messages. I think there were universal messages. Like, like I said, you don't have to be a sports fan, you don't have to be a wrestling fan, but I think this movie can resonate with most people. It can inspire you, and I really think this is a timeless movie. I think, of course, this movie was made in the 80s. It was quite a while ago, but I think this movie is still extremely relevant today, and all the messages are just super topical. It's just a timeless movie. I pretty much talked about everything that I wanted to go over, but one last thing I have to go over. This is random because I'm just segueing. I'm talking about all the inspirational, emotional stuff, and then I'm just talking about some random stuff, but it is what it is. That's my style. So I have to mention this scene. This is just, in my opinion, the most iconic scene in the movie. So when he goes to see Shoot training, this fool has an entire tree on his back. It's not really a tree, but it's this giant log. It's probably like 8 feet long, and he's just walking up the bleachers almost doing lunges. I just think that's the most iconic scene in the movie. It's so intimidating. Like that's his training regime, is just carrying trees on his back and walking upstairs. I mean, how can you compete with that? Shoot he was an intimidating character. The dude was built. I don't know how he was 168. Like Loudon was built too, but not like Shoot. Shoot was looking crazy. I don't even think he was that short. But anyways, before I wrap up the video, I wanted to mention that scene. You can't talk about this movie without mentioning that. That's an iconic scene. So with that being said, I've pretty much said everything that I want to say about this movie. 10 out of 10 would definitely recommend. If you haven't seen it, definitely check this out. If you're a fan of 80s movies, if you're a fan of dramas, sports movies, this is a must watch. So go check it out. But anyways, thank you all for watching. Peace out.